So first, this intro is a bit long-winded, but very relevant to the entire episode, so bear with me. Not being familiar with his shows, books, public persona, habits, or methods of communication before his presidency, I only know what I see on those other stations' news briefs and from watching the White House YouTube channel. I believe Mr. Trump, who seems to have a fair measure of tact when dealing with people, Mr. Trump, who uses grandiose sarcasm and likely has a reasonable ability to determine a person's intentions towards him, a man who rose to the presidency of the United States undoubtedly has a level of communication skills far beyond the average person. The Don is from New York, New York, so it's fair to say, and we have all heard it.
That is very
You give me the thumbs
Look
up.
at you. You are a
You gotta put the thumbs up.
I better use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. I can do anything.
He is no stranger to confrontational communication, a fair amount of obscenity for an adult, and not any more than your average politician. So when I heard Mr. Trump say the following,
did such harm to the black community, and they were called, and he called them super predators, and he said it, super predators, and they have never lived that down. 1994, your crime bill, the super predators. Nobody has done more for the black community than Donald Trump. And if you look, with the exception of Abraham Lincoln, possible exception, but
I said, shit, that was way worse than when Biden said,
More questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump.
I said, what's going on? Did black people just get double voting rights for reparations? I hope the government starts giving out some of that war bond money Grandpa was always talking about. But it was just a bit of pandering. See, I know what nobody on major news said. Some knew it, but didn't say it. I knew that there was no way that President Trump had done more for black people than any president since Lincoln. Because I knew that LBJ and JFK drafted and proposed legislation that resulted in the end of segregation in our country. Use of schools, libraries, public facilities, and even the right to vote. President Trump's criminal justice reform bill did not even come close. Less than 10,000 people have been affected on the release end of it, and likely 10,000 to 20,000 current guilty persons will receive a reduced sentence because of the bill. Not a lot. And the bill was not focused at black people. That would be racist. So let's find out what's really going on. While I can't say if Mr. Trump knows this, I have to say it's likely. Asking some general knowledge about the achievements of other presidents would give a read or a measure of his knowledge. It would determine whether or not he knows who LBJ and JFK are. I think he does. But you're saying get to the point, right? Is he a jerk? Out of touch with the people? Most politicians, the ultra-wealthy and famous, are rich to an extreme that creates a communication separation between them and the common American. Is he out of touch? Super out of touch? Or super tactful person, trying to show us all types of insights into the workings of our country, politics, media, and the plague of yes men who feed off our civil system? Maybe he had an old folks moment. I don't know. But here's what I see. Similar to Biden's, it didn't get any in-depth analysis. There was no perspective review. Nobody probed into further conversations. And nobody said to Mr. Trump, are you challenging me? I am challenging you, Mr. President. Former Mr. President. Were you looking to encourage increased civil and human rights initiatives? Were you showing us the perverse depths of the major media, their absence of participation and bias? The comment is likely the reason that you lost the past election. I'll just say this. Stop the pandering. To be honest, I'm embarrassed for our country. Not for the past. I'm ashamed of the people who said nothing about his repeated use of that statement. So let's look at what they didn't do and usually don't do. First, no major news station said, "Whoa, whoa, Mr. President. What about LBJ? What about JFK? What do you mean you've done more for black people than any president since Lincoln? Can you explain that? Can you elaborate? Can you show us more than a few bills? Can you show us something that is the equivalent of what LBJ and JFK did?" They didn't do that. So it tells us something about the news stations and their broadcasters and their producers and the workers and the whole lot. Even a little bit about our country's ability to encourage and maintain healthy media operations. If the news station was right-leaning like Fox, did they choose not to contest the statement because they didn't want to see Biden win? Because Trump's brain was broke? Didn't his people or the party members say, "Mr. President, do you have a civil or human rights issue you would like to propose? Do you hear something from the people? Mr. President, did you get the letters from the host of End More News and his request to update and improve our court systems?" I'm sure most didn't. If they did, I didn't hear about it. Now for the fans of the left. CNN, MSNBC, CBS, BSBS, UPS, PPBS, whatever you want to call it, etc., etc. Why did they not say it? Why did they not shout it? "You have not done anything close to what LBJ has done. That is absolutely absurd. And the people should know about the great deeds of JFK and Lyndon B. Johnson." They didn't say that. Would they deprive us? Were they so worried that Trump may give us something that good? Would they say, "We have our own reasons"? Would they sacrifice the individuals and the poor for the greater good? That's an oppressionist tactic. It's extremely alarming. One used by rulers. All the previous mention applies to the parties and their members, Republicans, Democrats, and in between, many of whom I specifically asked about the comment. Republican leaders could not say, and Democrats could not be reached and did not reply. What about the social media influencers, the actors, the activists, and outspoken peoples of our nation? They don't know history? Y'all didn't want more? Y'all couldn't say, "Hey, he didn't do all that. He didn't do much. Where were y'all at?" Maybe y'all should have said, "Hey, you know what? Do you got an idea? Why are you getting so big about these statements? Maybe you need to calm down, Mr. President." So in conclusion, do I find these comments concerning and worth mentioning before our next election? Yes. But not because I'm here to tell you you should vote a certain way. I'm not here to do that. I am here to show you that too many people who claim to be servants and leaders in our country are not doing a just job. Why did Mr. Trump say what he said? His bills, LBJ's bills, JFK's, they just don't compare. An ear to the House does. But I'll show you how far that goes in a future episode. Maybe it was a challenge to confront him, our political leaders, and media personas. Are y'all ready to do that? I'm here because I hope to show you what I have found in my experience and encourage you to seek help and help end more news to achieve its goal of bringing real news by real people to the American public. Free from food ads and animal stories from communities that you'll never visit. Jokes that don't make sense, that give you an angle, but don't really give you information. I'm here to tell you about things that our politicians do wrong. Perverse comments, they say, when they do things that aren't quite right. These types of comments and plenty stranger situations happen all the time, and all the time they go unnoticed, unspoken of, and ignored by people and entities who are more worried about themselves than giving even a little to ensure the future of our communities and our countries. Our country. I'd like every episode to be better than this one, and I hope they will get better, as this is the first, with better polished graphics, more entertaining. Future shows will be more insightful, with opportunity for more in-depth perspectives and reviews. But most importantly, as someone who is very deprived of a chance to be heard and given fair consideration, I want to invite you to present reports and stories to be hosted by And More News. Thank you for watching. If you're a politician and you're interested in increasing the civil and human rights of all people, feel welcome to contact me, either in the comments or by way of truthjusticeliberty.org. Please don't get discouraged by the faults of your peers. Learn from them, work toward repaying your debts, seeking forgiveness, and humbly give credit where credit is due.